Unit 6. Since when? Unit 6, pages 46 and 47. Look and listen.
Since when? Many inventions aren't as old as you think. The following inventions are part of people's everyday lives, but they haven't been around for all that long of a time. Read about their history. Does any of the information surprise you?
Have you listened to the news on the radio recently? Have you talked on your cell phone? At the beginning of the 20th century, many people didn't believe that electromagnetic waves traveled through the air. Guglielmo Marconi proved them wrong. On December 12, 1901, Marconi tied several antennas to kites. He sent a signal, the letter S, in Morse code across the Atlantic Ocean, about 2,175 miles, 3,500 kilometers away. The signal traveled from Paldue in Cornwall, England, to St. John's, Newfoundland. Since then, the use of waves for communication has been part of people's everyday life in radio, television, and recently in cell phones.
Have you looked in the refrigerator recently? People have tried to keep cool, or cool their food, for ages. The Chinese invented ice cream 4,000 years ago, and they used to keep it in snow in underground chambers. In Baghdad in the 8th century, a king used to import snow and put it between the walls of his summer home. The snow cooled the home. In 1834, Jacob Perkins, an American in London, invented a machine to make ice. The first home refrigerators appeared in the early 1920s, and today almost every home has one. In the 21st century, we can't live without it. The average American visits the refrigerator about 45 times a day.
Have you seen any good programs on TV lately? Did you ever think of life without television? Well, it hasn't been around for that many years. In fact, the development of black and white television began in 1926 when John Logie Baird gave the first demonstration of a television image in London. But those early pictures were bad. Then Philo Farnsworth got the idea to use a tube with spots of lights for TV pictures. And about the same time, Vladimir Zworykin invented a good television camera. The U.S. company RCA used these improvements and opened an experimental TV station in 1930. However, the golden era of television didn't begin until the late 1940s. By 1949, there were over 100 stations on the air in the United States. Since that time, television has become an important part of everyday life for people around the world.
How long have you worn your watch? Throughout history, people have kept time. The Egyptian sun clock, the Roman and Greek water clocks, the sand clock, the mechanical clocks in public places and squares, and the grandfather clock in people's homes. The pocket watch appeared in Germany about 1500, but it was only around 1910 that the Brazilian aviator Alberto Santos Dumont created the first wristwatch. He needed to check flying time, but he also needed to keep his hands on the controls of his plane, so he wasn't able to take his watch out of his pocket. As they say, necessity is the mother of invention. He put a watch around his wrist. The jewelry maker Cartier used Dumont's idea, and since then, people have worn wristwatches of all colors, shapes, and sizes.